Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Health Sciences, SOHS. Postgraduate Diploma in Geriatric Medicine, PGDGM, revised. MME 105 Clinical Geriatrics I. Block 1 Different Phase of Clinical Geriatrics. Unit 4 Anemia. Plan further investigations and management. Discuss other important hematological problems and the need for appropriate referral. 4.1 Introduction. We are learning about the ways in which the elderly are different from adults, from a clinical point of view, what is biological reserve capacity and what happens to it during aging. Blood is a vital organ system of body, playing a very important role in maintaining the homeostasis. In this unit, we are going to learn one of the most common disorders of hematological system, anemia. We will also have a glimpse of other common hematological problems prevalent in elderly myelodysplastic syndromes and myeloproliferative disorders. Anemia is a significant health problem in older adults. It has a high prevalence rate and significant associated morbidity in this group of patients. It is well established that even mild decrease in hemoglobin levels are associated with reduced quality of life, clinical depression, impaired mobility leading to falls and functional impairment, worsening comorbidities and mortality. So we have to understand that it is important to diagnose anemia before the above-mentioned deleterious consequences occur, rather than finding them during routine screening. The incidence of anemia also increases with aging. This could be due to reduced bone marrow reserve capacity with aging and impaired ability to respond and recover from stress factors. Despite these factors, if anemia is diagnosed and properly treated in otherwise healthy elderly, the response is good. 4.2 Classification. Based on the hemoglobin levels, anemia can be X mild 10 to 12 grams per deciliter, X moderate 8 to 10 grams per deciliter, X severe less than 8 grams per deciliter. Its prevalence increases with aging and the prevalence rate differs in community dwelling and institutionalized elderly, and it is more common among frail older adults. Classification can also be based on the etiology and morphology of RBCs. Etiological classification is seen in box 4.1. Impaired production, where there is reduced production of the blood cells, either due to deficiency of nutritional factors needed for production and maturation, or due to defect in marrow. Excessive destruction, hemolysis, blood loss. Box 4.1. Etiological classification. Morphological classification is based on RBC morphology on peripheral smear is presented in box 4.2. Macrocytic anemia, microcytic hyperchromic anemia, normocytic normochromic anemia. Box 4.2. Morphological classification. We can classify anemia in older adults in a different way which integrates its etiology as well as pathology as given box 4.3. In this unit, we will discuss anemia according to this classification. Nutritional deficiency anemia, anemia associated with inflammation, anemia associated with renal insufficiency, unexplained anemia. Box 4.3. Anemia in elderly. Case study. Let us examine the two case studies given below. 1. A 63-year-old female presents with complaints of tiredness and easy fatigability for 2 months duration. She is a known case of type 2 German marks and is on regular medications. She also admits that she used to take over-the-counter painkillers for knee pain for the past few years. She has not noticed any blackish stools, melena, but has loss of appetite and hence loss of weight. On examination, she is febrile but has tachycardia. She has significant pallor, koilonychia and a venous hum in the root of neck. Systemic examination shows mild epigastric tenderness and a systolic murmur without thrill. On investigation, hemoglobin is 7.3, total leukocyte count was 9000 and platelet count is 25600. Here, we have an elderly female with comorbidities and also having the habit of taking NSAIDs over the counter with hemoglobin of 7.3. She exhibits symptoms and signs of severe anemia. We have to be aware of the fact that chronic NSAID usage is one common cause of chronic GI blood loss. 2. A 74-year-old male who is a chronic alcoholic was referred for evaluation of anemia, and he complained of vague abdominal pain. He has been a chronic alcoholic for past 25 years. He complains of such episodes of abdominal pain before. On examination, patient had pallor and also mild jaundice and moderate ascites. Investigation showed hemoglobin of 9 grams per deciliter with MCV of 102 and platelets of 60,000. Peripheral smear showed presence of multilobulated neutrophils. This case is similar to the previous case in that it gives clue of probable gastritis and GI bleeding. But note that he is an alcoholic and he has jaundice and ascites, which points out that he may be having chronic liver disease as well. Also note that this person has anemia and thrombocytopenia, and also his mean corpuscular volume 1105 is more than 100, meaning he has macrocytosis. After having understood the case studies, let us now read more about the different types of anemia as per the classification. 1. Nutritional deficiency anemia. This is the most common type of anemia, constituting around 1/3 of all causes of anemia. Iron, vitamin B12 and folate are the nutrients associated with nutritional deficiency anemia. In older adults, it is usually secondary to iron loss rather than inadequate intake. Chronic gastrointestinal blood loss is an important reason for iron deficiency, and it may be a manifestation of occult malignancy, particularly of GI tract. Iron deficiency can also result from GI malabsorption, particularly those who had bowel resection or inflammatory bowel disease or on chronic antacid therapy. Causes of chronic GI blood loss. The common causes of blood loss are enumerated below. Aspirin and other NSAID usage, drug-induced peptic ulcers, hookworm infestation, gastric carcinoma, colon cancer, diverticular disease, colitis, polyps, angiodysplasia. Other causes of chronic blood loss: genitourinary malignancy, chronic hemoptysis, bleeding disorders. Vitamin B12 and folate deficiency causes macrocytic anemia in elderly. Out of this, vitamin B12 deficiency is more common than that of folate. B12 deficiency is due to cobalamin malabsorption. This could be due to dietary deficiency of vitamin B12 or due to age-associated atrophic gastritis with or without antacid therapy causing intrinsic factor deficiency, which is needed for cobalamin absorption, as in pernicious anemia. Besides macrocytosis, vitamin B12 deficiency can also cause other hematological abnormalities including leukopenia, thrombocytopenia and pancytopenia, so patient may need bone marrow examination to differentiate B12 deficiency from other equally common hematologic problems in elderly like myelodysplastic syndrome and aplastic anemia. Other causes of macrocytic anemia are reticulocytosis, scurvy, hypothyroidism. Do you think you can diagnose with B12 deficiency anemia easily and with confidence? In elderly, it is not so. Vitamin B12 deficiency is difficult to be diagnosed in elderly as the signs and symptoms are not reliably present in elderly. Level of vitamin B12 does not reliably reflect its deficiency, and normocytic or microcytic anemia may be the morphological presentation than macrocytic and megaloblastic. The blood pictures of normal RBCs, Fig. 4.1, microcytic hyperchromic anemia, Fig. 4.2, macrocytic anemia, Fig. 4.3, and dimorphic anemia, Fig. 4.4, show the differences that can be identified through the microscope. Look at the screen. Fig. 4.1, picture of normal blood sample. Fig. 4.2, microcytic hyperchromic anemia. Fig. 4.3, macrocytic anemia. Fig. 4.4, dimorphic anemia. Anemia of chronic inflammation. Aging is associated with chronic diseases characterized by inflammatory processes, such as atherosclerosis, diabetes, arthritis, infection and malignancy, Fig. 4.5. Though these can negatively influence erythropoiesis, which can lead to anemia. Chronic inflammation per se can also cause disordered iron kinetics. This leads to reduced iron absorption from GI tract and defective reutilization of iron sequestered in reticuloendothelial cells. A polypeptide secreted by liver called hepcidin and reduced secretion of erythropoietin are responsible for this type of anemia. The Fig. 4.5 depicts some of The conditions associated with anemia of chronic disease in elderly patients with this type of anemia is of usually mild to moderate severity, and morphologically RBCs will be normocytic and normochromic. Very rarely microcytosis is also encountered. But as opposed to iron deficiency anemia, TIBC will be reduced and transferrin will be increased. Fig 4.5 Conditions associated with anemia of chronic disease. Anemia associated with renal insufficiency. This type of anemia is emerging as an important cause of anemia in older adults. Mild decrease in hemoglobin may be detected at the creatinine clearance of 40 to 60 milliliters per minute. And if it's less than 40 milliliters per minute, erythropoietin (EPO) levels have been shown to be inappropriately low. So, even mild renal impairment increases the risk of anemia. Unexplained anemia. It has been recognized as a cause of anemia in more than one-third of older adults during routine evaluation. Usually this is of mild type with a hemoglobin concentration of 10-12 grams per deciliter and hypoproliferative, low reticulocyte count. It has been postulated that number of factors including testosterone levels, occult inflammation, reduced hematopoietic reserve, low serum EPO levels and myelodysplasia with advancing age are responsible for this condition. 4.3 Pathogenesis. Anemia is found to be one of the causative agents of adverse outcomes among elderly, like frailty, physical and cognitive impairment and increased mortality. These effects are basically as the result of anemia-induced tissue hypoxia due to poor oxygen carrying capacity. Because of tissue hypoxia, physiological reserve of various organs like heart, kidney, muscle decrease and deconditioning results in poor exercise tolerance, easy fatigability and decreased physical activity. The pathogenizers has been explained in Fig 4.6. Anemia to tissue hypoxia manifestations. 1. Decrease in physical activity. 2. Muscle weakness. 3. Slowness. 4. Fatigue. 5. LV hypertrophy. 6. SARCOPENIA. 7. Osteoporosis. 8. Renal impairment. Outcomes: frailty, disability, mortality. Fig 4.6 Pathogenesis of anemia. Look at the screen. 4.4 Clinical presentation. 1. Onset of symptoms and signs are usually insidious. Typical symptoms such as fatigue, weakness, and dyspnea may be mistaken for age-related problems. Patients with severe iron deficiency anemia can also have dysphagia due to esophageal Webb Plummer-Vinson syndrome. Because of that, they may have further worsening of their nutritional status. Conjunctival pallor is a reliable sign. Worsening congestive heart failure, cognitive decline, dizziness, and apathy can be the presenting features. When patient has anemia due to hemato-oncological conditions, they can also present with bleeding tendencies, bone pain, other organ failures, particularly renal, along with severe anemia. 4.5 Evaluation. As discussed in the scenarios given, patient may present with easy fatigability, anorexia, dizziness or heart failure symptoms and signs or worsening of claudication pain. Conjunctival pallor is one of the reliable sign. Tests that are commonly used in preliminary steps of evaluation are 1. Complete blood count, which will give information on 9. Severity of anemia according to hemoglobin percentage, 9. Hematocrit, 9. RBC indices including MCV, 9. WBC count, 9. Platelet count, 9. Reticulocyte count. 2. Peripheral smear study, which gives an idea about the type of anemia in blood cell morphology: microcytic, hyperchromic, normocytic, macrocytic, mixed, immature, blast cells, presence of deformed cells, platelets, and presence of hemoparasites. Dimorphic anemia occurs when there is blood loss with concurrent B12 or folate deficiency. Based on these two tests, we can come to a reasonable conclusion of type of anemia. An algorithm for diagnosing anemia is provided in Fig 4.7. Fig 4.7 Algorithm for diagnosing anemia. Look at the screen. 3. Test to assess iron deficiency: serum iron, TIBC, serum ferritin, transferrin saturation. 4. Test to assess vitamin B12 deficiency: levels of vitamin B12 and folate. 5. Renal and liver function tests. 6. To evaluate occult GI bleeding, fecal occult blood detection and upper and lower GI endoscopy. 7. Evidences of infection and chronic inflammation, appropriate microbiological investigations, and C-reactive protein as per the patient's symptoms, e.g. CXR, and sputum examination for chronic chest symptoms, urine culture and sensitivity. 4. 8. Tests to evaluate other cause anemia, hemolysis, Coombs test, LDH, bilirubin if clinically patient has jaundice, other endocrine disorders, hypothyroidism and hypergonadism. If patient has moderate to severe anemia, high ESR and frequent infections, suspect multiple myeloma and do serum electrophoresis and Bence-Jones proteins in urine. 9. Bone marrow evaluation to differentiate pancytopenia due to B12 deficiency, myelodysplastic anemia, aplastic anemia and to rule out malignancy. Indications for bone marrow aspiration or biopsy have been enumerated in box 4.1. 10. Other special tests based on preliminary reports, immunohistochemistry, bone marrow biopsy, inflammatory markers etc. Pancytopenia, monoclonal gammopathy, suspicion of myelodysplastic syndrome, PS showing immature WBCs or nucleated red cells, indeterminate status of iron stores, unexplained and progressive anemia. Box 4.1, indications for bone marrow aspiration or biopsy. 4.6 Referral considerations. From the primary settings, patients who are being treated in primary care settings should be referred to higher centers which can offer hematologic consultation, blood bank and advanced lab facilities. Elderly with severe anemia on presentation requiring blood transfusion. Pancytopenia which might require bone marrow. Recurrent anemia. Anemia with features suggestive of hemolysis. Lymphadenopathy, bone pain. Constitutional symptoms like weight loss. Hematological malignance. 4.7 Treatment. Typically, for iron replacement therapy, up to 200 mg of elemental iron per day is given, usually as 3 or 4 iron tablets, each containing 50-65 mg elemental iron, given over the course of the day. Ideally, oral iron preparations should be taken on an empty stomach, since food may inhibit iron absorption. A dose of 200 mg of elemental iron per day should result in the absorption of iron up to 50 mg d. It should be continued for 3 months after HB is corrected to replenish the iron stores. The treatment for anemia has been summarized in box 4.2. Oral iron preparations: ferrous sulfate 325 mg of which 65 mg elemental iron. Ferrous fumarate minus 325 mg of which 100 mg elemental iron. Parenteral iron preparations: iron dextran, contain 50 mg of iron per milliliter. Iron sucrose, contain 20 mg per milliliter. Given as 5 ml, 100 mg at least 3 times a week. Iron carboxymaltose. For patients more than 50 kg, 0.2 injections of 750 mg iron separated by a period of 7 days. Type of anemia and treatment. Iron deficiency anemia to address the cause of loss, if present. Oral iron supplements. Dietary supplement of iron-rich food. Replenishment till body stores replenish. IV iron treatment for patients with CKD and cancer. Folate deficiency. Oral folate supplements dose 5 to 15 mg daily. Continue therapy for 4 months. Vitamin B12 combined deficiency should be excluded before giving folate alone for the risk of subacute combined degeneration of spinal cord. Vitamin B12 deficiency. Cyanocobalamin or hydroxycobalamin injection 1000 mcg daily x 1 week. Twice weekly by 2 weeks. Weekly by 4 weeks. Monthly to continue. After 2 to 3 years, continue once in 3 months. High oral vitamin B12 supplements. Anemia of CKD: recombinant human erythropoietin, epoetin, darbepoetin. Erythropoietin 2500 units, 3 times a week. Every 2 to 3 weeks after correcting The. Iron deficiency. Anemia of chronic inflammation: no proven specific therapy. Erythropoietin and iron supplements can be tried. Unclassified anemia: recombinant erythropoietin can be tried. 4.9 Other hematological malignancies. Let us learn more about the other hematological malignancies. 4.9.1 Myelodysplastic syndrome. The term includes a heterogeneous group of disorders characterized by dysplastic changes within the marrow and impaired proliferation of one or more cell lines. Its incidence increases with age, and in age group of more than 80 years, highest incidence is seen. In the US, the incidence rate is 0.5 per 100,000 per year in persons younger than 50 years, whereas it is 89 over 1.00000 in individuals more than 80 years. Refractory anemia, RA. Refractory anemia with ringed sideroblasts, RARS. Refractory anemia with excess blasts, RAEB. Refractory anemia with excess blasts in transformation, RAEBT. Chronic myelomonocytic leukemia, CMML. Box 4.3, FAB classification. WHO has modified this general classification, Box 4.3, based on bone marrow cytogenetic features and other clinical and histopathological features which help in estimating a more accurate prognosis. Pathogenesis. No distinct cause identified in most cases. Some of the associations found are prior chemotherapy with alkylating agents and topoisomerase inhibitors, prior radiotherapy, prolonged exposure to benzene and pesticide, cigarette smoking, chromosomal abnormalities similar to that of AML. Clinical features. Patients may be asymptomatic or have symptoms related to qualitative or quantitative defects of blood cells like fatigue, dyspnea. Other symptoms of anemia as discussed above, and frequent infections especially of the skin due to neutropenia. If there is associated thrombocytopenia, skin bleeding, and extreme cases GI bleeding and intracranial bleeding may present. We should suspect this condition in elderly with persistent macrocytic anemia, multiple cytopenias, and if blasts are seen in peripheral smear investigations. CBC, anemia usually, norm or macrocytic, leukopenia which is moderate, thrombocytopenia or sometimes thrombocytosis. Other changes like anisocytosis, basophil stippling, ringed sideroblasts, pseudopelvihuate abnormalities, unusual shape of nuclei and unusual structure of white blood cells, and large platelets. These patients, as discussed above, will need bone marrow examination to find out the reason for anemia accompanied by other cell line defects. Bone marrow will show normal or hypercellular pattern, blast cells, dysplastic features in either one or all three, called trilinear defects. Based on number of cytopenias, chromosomal abnormalities and percentage of blast cells, the International Prognostic Scoring System, IPPS, divides patients into low, intermediate 1 and 2, and high categories. This estimates overall survival and predicts progression to AML. Referral considerations. Patients with progressive single cytopenia with dysplastic morphology or multiple cytopenias. Patients requiring multiple transfusions. Severely symptomatic anemic patients. Treatment. Supportive transfusions, iron chelating therapy, and adequate treatment of infection. Low and intermediate 1 category treatment deferred until significant cytopenia. Lenalidomide, a thalidomide analog, is useful in those who shows 5q deletion. Recombinant erythropoietin with or without granulocyte stimulating factor for significant symptomatic anemia after appropriate tests. Intermediate 2 and high category allogenic stem cell transplantation after assessing risk-benefit ratio. In older patients, not eligible for transplantation, DNA methyl transferase inhibitors decitabine or azacitidine are used to improve the quality of life. 4.9.2 Myeloproliferative disorders, MPD. MPDs are characterized by colonial proliferation of hematopoietic stem cells. The disorders under this category are classification of myeloproliferative disorder, polycythemia vera, PV, essential thrombocytosis, ET, chronic idiopathic myelofibrosis, CIF, chronic myelogenous leukemia, CML, has been added to signify the possible malignant nature of these disorders. This includes mast cell disease, chronic eosinophilic and neutrophilic leukemia, hypereosinophilic syndrome. Other unclassified BM disorders, PV and CIF, are more often diagnosed in older adults. There is familial tendency seen in PV and ET. ET is more often seen in younger individuals, more in women than in men, particularly during pregnancy. JAK2V617F mutation in stem cells is commonly seen in all these conditions. X pathogenesis of CML is better understood, with a majority of cases showing BCR-ABLTK translocation between chromosomes 9. X abnormal migration of CD34 stem cells and endothelial progenitors to peripheral hematopoietic organs is known to play a role in extramedullary hematopoiesis. XPV and ET can lead to secondary myelofibrosis. Clinical features. In ET, there is abnormality in platelet number and function. This results in thrombotic events in both arterial, micro and large vessels, and venous sites. In both PV and ET, risk of thrombosis increases with age. Presence of JAK2 mutations and leukocytosis are also risk factors for thrombosis. CIF is asymptomatic in 30% of patients in whom it can be suspected by virtue of a leukoerythroblastic blood picture and dacrocytes, teardrop cells, in a peripheral smear. Splenomegaly may be seen in prefibrotic stages of disease. CML is particularly characterized by a massive splenomegaly, constitutional symptoms, as seen in other MPNs and hemorrhagic tendencies. Constitutional symptoms in MPDs include a. High incidence of fatigue. B. Pruritus in 50% of patients. C. Bone pains. D. Night sweats. A. Weight loss. Diagnosis. CBC, increase in platelet number more than 4.5 lakh per deciliter in ET, and increase in HB by 2 gm per deciliter above normal levels in PV, are important criteria for establishing diagnosis. The diagnosis of ET also requires exclusion of reactive thrombocytosis, as seen in cancer, iron deficiency anemia and other inflammatory conditions. Peripheral smear may show leukoerythroblastic blood picture and dacrocytes. In a patient with anemia, above findings, signs of extramedullary hematopoiesis justifies referral to specialized centers. Further establishment of diagnosis requires estimation of serum erythropoietin levels. BM studies including morphological characteristics, reticulin staining and cytogenetic studies such as FISH. Prognosis. Several scoring systems are used that take into account age, HB levels, WBC counts. Older age appears to be a common negative prognostic factor. Treatment. In PV and ET, to reduce the morbidity associated with the qualitative and quantitative changes in blood cells, phlebotomy and low-dose aspirin are recommended. For primary myelofibrosis, allogeneic hematopoietic stem cell transplantation is the recommenced modality of treatment, though age and comorbidities are negative prognostic factors for survival. EPO and danazol are commonly used to correct anemia, but this comes with the risk of increased transformation to leukemia. For management of CML, use of tyrosine kinase inhibitors such as imatinib, oral dasatinib, nilotinib have drastically changed outcomes. Older patients respond well to these drugs as well. 4.11 Let us sum up. Anemia is one of the most underdiagnosed problem in elderly. There are 4 important types of anemia in elderly, atypical and late presentations are common. Iron deficiency anemia is the common type of nutritional anemia, and interestingly, iron loss rather than deficient intake is responsible. Complete blood count is the simple, dependable and easily available preliminary test, based on which further investigations can be planned. Persistent or recurrent anemia after treatment, involvement of more than one cell line, presence of immature cells in the smear warrants further hematological investigation by a specialist. For the treatment of life-threatening conditions like GI hemorrhage, systemic hemorrhages, failure of major systems, cardiac, renal, and for specialized hematological investigations, the patient needs referral to tertiary care centers. Knowledge about myelodysplastic syndrome and myeloproliferative disorders gives a better understanding of anemia with abnormalities of other cell lineage. These disorders are also common in older adults. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video with the next chapter.